special presentation.
I call our
She even has it on.
agenda meeting to order February 3rd. Commissioners are reminded of their duty to avoid conflicts of interest consistent with state law and Wayne County policies. Any commissioner who has an actual or potential conflict of interest with respect to any matter on the agenda should disclose the conflict prior to the meeting. So today we will be calling our meeting to order at 9 o'clock. Invocation was Commissioner Joe DeMarco. Pledge of Allegiance, Commissioner Joe DeMarco. Approval of the minutes. So we'll be looking for a motion to approve the January 20th minutes. Any adjustments on the agenda?
Yes, sir. Number 8, under unfinished business, we'll recess today's meeting and meet again tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the presentation by Davenport on financial proposals for the Rosewood Middle School and Rosewood Elementary School projects.
Additionally, we are going to recess and have our public hearings.
So what I would advise, due to the weather, is that we have our public hearings at 9:15 and 9:30, and then we just recess both of those to 11 tomorrow, just to give the public an
Oh, okay, so
opportunity to
go
come.
ahead and call them to order, but then recess them
And then recess them,
for tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
and then take action tomorrow at 11 on both
Okay.
of those.
So anyone that was not able to make it here today could attend tomorrow.
They can come tomorrow, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, any other adjustments?
That's it, sir.
Okay. Then we'll have a special presentation, will be a motion to approve 2026 Black History Month, and Commissioner Williams will be reading that. Appointment Committee. Commissioner DeMarco will be making a motion from the Appointment Committee to appoint Valerie Wallace to the Wayne County Library Advisory Board. And then a motion to appoint Andrea Fraley. Thank
How you
you.
say that?
Andrea
Fraley.
Fraley.
To the Trillium South Central Regional Advisory Board. At 9:15 and 9:30, we'll have public hearings. At 9:15, a public hearing to receive public comments regarding a proposed installment financing agreement or similar financing arrangement to finance improvements to Rosewood Middle School and Rosewood Elementary School for the County of Wayne, North Carolina. We will be recessing that along with the second public hearing. And the 9:30 public hearing is a request to rezone 2.817 acres in Grantham Township from community shopping to R10 for property located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Paul Hare Road and US Highway 13 South, identified as tax parcel 254-673-4961. Are we having any input on these public hearings?
I know that Barry, I can speak on the first public hearing, and then Barry Gray will be joining remotely to explain the second
To
one.
give us the information on that. Okay. And then under unfinished business, we'll have a presentation. Of course, we're moving that to 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Consent agenda, budget amendments. Good morning.
Start with number 229 from Cooperative Extension. This budget amendment is to appropriate funds received from the North Carolina State University to fund the 4-H awards and scholarships to Wayne County 4-Hers. Number 230, this is from the Health Department. The purpose of this budget amendment is to realign the child health budget to pay for child car seats. The car seats will be used for child fatality, car seat safety services, education, and incentives. Number 232. I'm going to read that memo to you. The purpose of this budget amendment is to reallocate funds from the contingency line to payments to municipalities line item in order to remit 1/2 of the county property taxes collected for tax years 2024 and 2025 to the city of Goldsboro, in accordance with the Economic Development Agreement approved by the Board of Commissioners on May 20, 2024, by Resolution 2024-67. This agreement applies to county property taxes paid by Select Genetics for Lot 18. Number 237. This is from the Finance Office. The purpose of this budget amendment is to realign funds to cover the increase in medical examiner fees. 239 is Health Department. The purpose of this budget amendment is to realign the Health Department payroll budget to cover projected lapses in part-time wages and fringes. And finally, number 244, this is from the County Attorney's Office. The purpose of this budget amendment is to realign payroll items through the end of the fiscal year.
I just had a question. If we could go back to 230, I mean, I haven't bought a car seat in forever, but, is it more than just the car seats? I know it says education. Do we know how many car seats?
Ginger, do you perhaps know additional information on that?
Them that they get with the state. I'm not sure how many car seats they buy, but they work in conjunction with, it's not Literacy Connections. Communities and schools for these car seats. I don't know how many they are, but that's where the education piece comes from, to educate parents coming in. But I can get a certain number if you'd like to know.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. I mean, I'm not gonna try to stop this, but I just, I'd just like to have more information if you could email it to
Sure,
me later.
be glad to.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. That's all that I have.
Okay, any questions, other questions on budget amendments? Okay, next item is a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Talton Farms, Section 4.
You wanna check if Barry's?
Is Barry online? Come in, Barry.
He may just be jumping on for
We'll pause and see if we can get him online.
I think it was so cold yesterday morning. Fuel filters froze up on 2 of the machines.
He's online, but he has muted himself, so we can just move on and come back if we need to.
He's online, but what?
He muted himself, so I think he has stepped away from the computer.
Okay, so we'll come back to that then. And then same thing on motion to approve a final plat for Jackson Ridge, Section 1. Item 12, motion to approve an inspection services agreement with the city of Goldsboro for the county to perform level 3 electrical inspections within Goldsboro. Mr. County Manager, you can give us some update on that.
Goldsboro does not have a level 3 inspector at the current time, and they are needing some assistance in their building inspections office, and would like to contract with the county for level 3 electrical inspections. We'll charge the permitting fee, and they're paying a per hour price and travel, mileage. This is until they can fill their position, and then we'll cancel the contract. They're currently advertising for that position now.
You sure we get a permit fee?
Yes.
Okay, any questions on that?
No, I'd just like to say, I think that's part of us being good neighbors. Good, yes,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
And item 13, motion to adopt a resolution approving administrative guidelines and policies required by the Department of Housing and Urban Development for the EMS Station 12 Community Project Funding Grant.
These are policies that we regularly are required by HUD when we do like deep neighborhood revitalization and other projects. Give me just a second here to get to it. There are multiple policies that the county has to comply with in order to get the funding, citizen participation plan, equal opportunity plan, and excessive force policy, a fair housing policy and fair housing complaint procedure, North Carolina analysis of impediments to fair housing choice, local jobs initiative section 3 plan, a procurement standards policies and plan, a language access plan, a section 504 self-evaluation plan, and section 504 grievance policy, a residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan, and number 11 is an optional coverage reallocation plan, and a 12 is a conflict of interest policy. These all have to be adopted in order to receive the funding from HUD for Station 12. We regularly adopt these. We don't really go, David Harris is normally the one that does it on everything else, and he comes in, we do it every so often, but evidently our policies are out of date currently.
Well, I suppose if we want the grant, I suppose we better implement all of these. Okay.
Correct.
Item 14, any questions on that? Item 14, a motion to approve the updated emergency shelter agreement with the Wayne County Board of Education.
And our emergency management director contacted me. They wanted to update our current shelter agreement. As it stands now, the school system is responsible for providing food within the first 48 hours that a shelter is open. The only change to the agreement that's in front of you is that would go to 72 hours. And we reimburse the schools all that costs. And I think the reason for that is usually when we do open up shelters, it's usually only for a couple of days, a 3-day period. So I think that they think that 3-day period would cover everything. So minor change.
And they're all in agreement with that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any questions on that? The next item, item 15, local government commission's response to the financial performance indicators of concern.
I'll speak to that. Last meeting, our auditor presented the financials for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. And one of the items, it was not a finding, it was actually just a violation, which was noted in the notes of the audit. We have to respond. It was a financial performance indicator. I'll read the memo and then explain it a little further. If you go down to the second paragraph, during the audit presentation for the fiscal year 2025, the county's independent auditors identified a violation of finance-related legal provisions requiring a written response to the LGC, specifically due to expenditures recorded subsequent to the year end. The county overspent at the object level. These items were detailed in the audit report. Attached is a staff-recommended response prepared in accordance with guidance provided by the Local Government Commission. Upon approval by the Board of Commissioners, the response will be executed and submitted to the LGC within the required time frame. So there's a lengthy response attached. It will require a majority of the commissioners to signature. So if you'll look at that letter under, keep going, at the very bottom, the correct, scroll back up for me, Kayla. One little bit more. Okay, right there, corrective action. I just want to let you know that these issues that have been identified, we have already implemented corrections to those or steps. The annual budget ordinance language will be revised. So at the next board meeting, what I'll be bringing back to you is an option to do a revised budget ordinance. I have been working with our auditor as well as our coach with the LGC, with State Treasurer's Office, to make our budget ordinance more simple, more easier to read and understand by our citizens, as well as to group those departments or to group those objects into department level, so we do not have these issues going forward. The biggest issue that we had that brought this issue up was that we overspent at the object level. That's the most detailed level. And I want to assure you, we will still bring you budget amendments according to our budget amendment policy for you to see and approve over $5,000. This will be a presentation-only change, so we will be grouping by departments. All of those individual object levels will be grouped to department levels. So you won't see office supplies, you will not see leases, the individual, very minute detail. Does that help?
Somewhat.
Okay,
But just for clarification,
sure.
the finding is
Not a
that we.
finding.
Well, okay, all right, thanks for the correction.
The violation,
The violation is basically stating that the way we produce our budget, we overspent a line item,
An object line item.
an object's line item. So they would prefer that we increase our budget to accommodate the,
I think that is counterproductive because we do not want to overstate our budget, because we need to be very cognizant of the expenses that happen at the end of the fiscal year, i.e. hospitalization. Honestly, we don't know what our hospitalization costs are until we receive the bill.
right.
So that is the only concern in this, is that we monitor that very closely and increase that budget a tad more to make sure we've covered that last bill. These are expenses that we actually received the invoices on in July and August that pertain to the previous fiscal year that had to be reported basically backwards. So we received the bills in July. It's governmental accounting. It's called accruals, and we have to move those expenses and record them in the year that they actually occurred.
Okay.
So,
Comments?
this has been done like this
40-plus years.
40-plus years. It's only become an item of, indicator of concern is what they call it
This year.
this year. We'll correct it and
Somebody retired
See it
and
again.
somebody got hired, and that's the reason. Not here, but up there.
Okay, any more questions on this? Okay, with that in mind, we have had a request from one of our commissioners to remove this from the consent agenda. So if, we're okay with that, we're going to move item 15 to what we're moving it to,
Be unfinished.
unfinished business.
unfinished business. So item 15 would be moving to unfinished business as item 9 and would be voted on separately. Okay?
We got to operate it that now, or it
Yes.
just don't matter?
No, we can just move it now.
Yeah. Okay, then we will have public comments. Then county manager's report, board of commissioners, committee reports, closed session. Do we have a closed session?
Yes, sir, we do, and we can take care of that before 9 o'clock.
Okay, do I have a motion? We go into closed session.
So move.
All right, we got a motion to go in closed session.
And that would be to discuss matters relating to location or expansion of the industries within the county and to consult with your attorney to maintain attorney-client privilege.
Has everybody voted?
Did it come up for you to vote? Yes, there it is.
We're good to go? Okay. We're going into closed session.
Let me make sure we're clear.
Okay, we are in session. Welcome you to the February 3rd Board of Commissioners meeting. Let me read this statement. Commissioners are reminded of their duty to avoid conflicts of interest consistent with state law and Wayne County policies. Any commissioner who has an actual or potential conflict of interest with respect to any matter on the agenda should disclose the conflict prior to the meeting. With that in mind, we will have the invocation today by Commissioner Joe DeMarco.
Please bow your heads. Almighty God, we gather today seeking your presence and guidance for these commissioners as they serve our community. Grant them wisdom, discernment to make just decisions, courage to act with integrity and compassion for all residents, especially the vulnerable. May their discussions foster unity and understanding, leading to outcomes that uphold the common good. Help them remember their role as servants to the people. Bless their families for their sacrifice. May this meeting be productive and honor your principles of justice and righteousness. Amen.
Amen. And the Pledge of Allegiance, Commissioner Joe DeMarco.
Thanks, flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve our January 20th minutes.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion. All those in favor, please vote. And then discussion on the adjustment of the agenda.
Yes, sir. Under unfinished business, we'd like to move number 8, presentation by Davenport on financing proposals for the Rosewood Middle School and Rosewood Elementary School projects to tomorrow after we recess today's meeting until 11 a.m. tomorrow. We'd also like to take item number 15 under the consent agenda and create a new item number 8, which is your local government commission response to the financial performance indicators of concern. It will also be noted that we will not take action on either public hearing, even though you're holding them today. We'll postpone action until tomorrow at 11 a.m. That's all the changes.
Okay. Do you have a motion to approve the adjusted agenda?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we've got a motion. Any discussion? And then under special presentations, Commissioner Williams will be reading our Black History Month proclamation.
2026 Black History Month proclamation. Whereas much of Wayne County's honor, strength, and stature can be attributed to the diversity of cultures and traditions that are celebrated by the residents of this great county. And whereas African Americans have played significant roles in the history of Wayne County's and North Carolina's economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development, while working tirelessly to maintain and promote their culture and history. And whereas, as a result of their determination, hard work, intelligence, and perseverance, African Americans have made valuable and lasting contributions to Wayne County and our state, achieving exceptional success in all aspects of society, including business, education, politics, science, and the arts. And whereas, in 1976, Black History Month was formally adopted to honor and affirm the importance of Black history throughout our American experience, which goes back hundreds of years and includes some of the greatest, most advanced, and innovative societies in our history from which we can all draw inspiration. And whereas Black History Month is a time for all Americans to remember the stories and teachings of those who helped build our nation, took a stance against prejudice to build lives of dignity and opportunity, advance the cause of civil rights, and strengthen families and communities. And whereas during Black History Month, all Americans are encouraged to reflect on past successes and challenges of African Americans and look to the future to continue to improve society so we live up to the ideals of freedom, equality, and justice. Now therefore be it resolved that the Wayne County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim February 2026 to be Black History Month in Wayne County, and encourages all citizens to join in honoring the many contributions made by African Americans throughout the area and to participate in the many educational events honoring the contributions of Black Americans this third day of February 2026. And that's in the form of a motion.
It is. We got a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, appointment committee.
Okay, we need a motion to appoint Valerie Wallace to the Wayne County Library Advisory Board.
Okay, we have a motion
So
from the
moved.
appointment committee. Okay, that passed.
I need another motion to appoint Andrea Fraley to the Trillium South Central Regional Advisory Board.
Okay, we have a motion. And that passed. Okay, it is 9:15 and I am opening a public hearing to receive public comments regarding a proposed installment financing agreement or a similar financing arrangement to finance improvements to Rosewood Middle School and Rosewood Elementary School for the County of Wayne, North Carolina.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. So this is for the Rosewood Middle School and Rosewood Elementary School projects. As you're aware, the middle school project has been underway for quite some time. We anticipate that being ready for the start of the upcoming school year. In the midst of the Rosewood Middle School project, it was discussed with our working group with the school system that instead of building the alternate there, that we would explore an addition at Rosewood Elementary School. And that would keep the feeder pattern, that would keep a K-5 set up at the elementary school, and then the 6, 7, 8, which is more ideal for the school system. So although we started with the middle school, we expanded that to include the elementary school. Several months back, we did a reimbursement resolution that would allow us to start paying some of these costs. And then when we went out and borrowed, we would reimburse ourselves or pay ourselves back with that. The Rosewood Middle School project to this point has been funded with state grants. So we have not had the need to go out and borrow quite yet, just because we're spending down all of that money. The anticipated need to finish Rosewood Middle School and elementary school out of the borrowing would be $9 million. So the public hearing today would be for anyone to make comments about borrowing the $9 million. Davenport will be here tomorrow to go over the bank proposals and request you all to take action on that. This public hearing is needed so you all can authorize staff to move forward with the financing agreement, and then we can go to the LGC next month and have them approve the borrowing. So this is the first step in that process.
Okay.
Sure. So that's the 9 million that, what we would owe on the middle school and what it would take to put the wing on.
Correct, that's correct, and the only property that would be used for collateral for this borrowing would be the middle school, not the elementary school, just for your information.
Okay. Was there anyone here that has signed up to speak at the public hearing?
No, sir.
And after speaking with our bond counsel about this, given the weather conditions and everything, and we're gonna be here tomorrow anyway, we thought it would be best just to recess this public hearing till 11 o'clock tomorrow, so that way if any members of the public wanna come, they can come tomorrow as well. So we would just recess the meeting, or this, public hearing now until tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Okay, at this time, I recess our public hearing to bring it back up tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's not 9:30 now, so we're going to go to unfinished business. And that would be item 8, which would be our local government commission's response to the financial performance indicators of concern. if you give us a little background on that.
Absolutely. Last meeting, our auditors presented the 2025 audit. In that audit, we had a violation to our budget because of overspending on the object level. We had 4 areas that of concern in public safety, human services, debt service, and internal service fund for self-insurance. So I'll read the memo that is before this letter. This letter, there we go. So the second paragraph, during the audit presentation for fiscal year ending 2025, the county's independent auditors identified a violation of finance-related legal provisions requiring a written response to the LGC, specifically due to expenditures recorded subsequent to year end. The county overspent at the object level. These items were detailed in the audit report. Attached is a staff-recommended response prepared in accordance with guidance provided by the local government commission. Upon approval by the Board of Commissioners, the response will be executed and submitted to the LGC within the required timeframe. So since this was brought to our attention, we have been working with our auditor as well as the LGC, along with our coach team consultant, to mitigate this from happening in the future. So what will happen upon your approval of this FPIC, or the Financial Performance Indicators of Concern, we will bring back to you next meeting a revised budget ordinance. This ordinance has been prepared this way for 40-plus years. We have been providing, in the opinion of many, too much detail. So what we would like to propose to you is to roll up the object level up to the department level. I've been researching other counties, and they all prepare their budget ordinances this way. But what I want to assure you is that does not change our budget amendment policy. You have established guidelines that requires budget amendments of $5,000 or more when moving between expenditure lines, as well as approval of all revenues. They will still be brought to you as those changes are made. So this FPIC, this Financial Performance Indicators of Concern, is not a finding, it is a violation. First time we've ever had this to happen. But we have already put measures in place to avoid this in the future. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Angie, usually is this a new thing that LGC has put out recently?
This started, the FPIC started back in November of 2020. The North Carolina Administrative Code established this requirement. If y'all remember, we actually had this same thing pop up a few years ago with our sewer, which led to moving that into the general fund. So it's a way that the LGC keeps a very close look on counties and municipalities to provide more information to them to help them to better prepare their financials and keep them on good financial footing.
Since this has been back, our auditors did not have our auditors
No.
did not have a problem with it, or just say, well, we
No.
need to do this.
So this was
Until
a
it becomes
requirement that the auditor disclose this. This has happened in prior years, but when you take those individual object levels, say for instance, finance, office supplies.
Yeah.
Planning has office supplies, HR has office supplies. So when we provide you with the budget ordinance, we give you the detailed lines, office supplies, program supplies. Well, when we do the audit, we group those, and as long as the grouping is not over budget, the department as a whole is over budget, we're fine. But this is the first year that the LGC looked at our budget ordinance, saw that we present our budget ordinance in a detailed level, so they held us to that level of accountability. So now what I would like to propose to you at the next meeting, like I said, I'm working with the LGC, our coach team consultant, to look at our budget ordinance, and you would approve it based on the grouping, the department level.
each
So
department.
we don't have this going forward.
Yeah.
The schools present theirs at department level, function level. Wake County, I mean, many of your counties, we're very few. We've always provided you more detail, and we still will. But for this presentation, it will be grouped. And it honestly, as I have kind of learned and looked at this, it makes it more easily understand. Too much information can be overwhelming. So if we group this by department, so you'll have social service as a department, instead of looking at 500 accounts. Health, same thing. Finance, county attorney, commissioners, I mean, you had detail as well. Everybody had detail. You were looking at 5,000 accounts. So it's,
It just became a problem this year.
yes,
Yeah.
and we've seen a turnover, you know, in the LGC, and that was probably, somebody is checking off every single box, but that's okay. We've already got a plan in place to fix it.
So am I to understand that when we are going through the budget process, we are not going to have the numbers
No, you're
detailed?
you're gonna still
We'll
be
still
looking.
have them.
Yes,
It's
but
just
that
when we
final approval, that final document,
group it
the
all
ordinance,
together.
it's gonna be grouped. Budget amendments will still come to you in a detailed level.
I understand the LGC is kind of making some decisions here, but I think this decision basically lessens transparency rather than enhancing it. But we definitely do not want to have any further issue on our budget, so we'll approve it where we're grouping it all, and evidently they will be happy.
Well, there's two different things between transparency and micromanagement. So, I mean, some of this stuff, I think micromanaging is
That's what they
what's
do.
got us to the point. We've given so much information, and when one thing goes over, that's what triggers it, the piece that put us in this position. So, I mean, transparency and micromanagement, two different things.
I have a couple of things, there's some information that I would like at some point. So we have public safety. I don't know the dollar amount that actually happened in public safety, nor human services or debt services or anything. I would like those dollar amounts. Also, what budget amendments on those dollar amounts weren't done in time to be processed correctly, because that's another issue that been, you know, that's really didn't have anything to do with them so much as to do with us, because those budget amendments should have been done and processed in time regardless, if it was over that $5,000 mark. So I would like those budget amendments, and have those budget amendments been processed now.
So can I address that?
Yeah.
So all of these issues resulted as a result of subsequent transactions. What that means is these invoices were paid between July 1st and, say, August 15th. They were paid in 2025, 2026.
Got you.
So you can't do budget amendments because you're past June 30, 2025. So they came out of the funds from this year. However, because of governmental accounting, modified accrual, those transactions were for services or products rendered or received in June, so they have to be moved back by journal entry.
Okay, I understand.
So when those were moved back, the funds were not there.
Okay,
But when you group them by department, problem solved.
okay. But this is my question. So if it's over 5,000,
Under 5,000, right?
is it over or under 5,000? Which,
So these, there were various amounts. Hospitalization was well over $5,000.
okay, so right there, If it's over 5,000, you need the budget amendment.
Correct.
Okay, so that budget amendment should come before that is approved, or?
This
it-
is a unique situation.
'Cause that's my-
This transaction didn't happen in June. It did not hit our ledger in June. Had it hit, actually, the hospitalization is happening during June. You don't know what your claims amount are gonna be until you receive your bill in July.
Which
So
comes
we
in
had
June.
no idea how much money we were gonna need. So, back to your point, we're gonna have to inflate our budgets to keep things like this from happening, okay? The money was available to pay the invoice in July. There was no budget amendment needed.
Came out of
But
2026.
those claims actually happened. The person was sick or had surgery in June. But the bill comes a month later,
Okay,
or two.
okay. So you're saying that if it's over 5 and the bill's coming out later, we don't need a budget amendment?
Because the money was we had funds available
So as
in
long as
that.
the funds are available, we don't have to have a budget amendment? It's if the funds are
Correct.
not available?
That's correct.
Okay, okay, all right.
These are all because of audit, because we report on modified accrual basis when the transaction happens. Not when it's paid, but when we incurred it.
And the part, slide that.
So when you're moving from line items,
Yes, right there.
do those funds have to be budget amendments?
If it's over $5,000.
Okay, so with, just say, the hospital. We're just using that as an example. You have the funds there available already. You don't have to move anything if it's something over on any line item. What makes it move? So just say it's someone's bill, insurance bill, but let's say it's copiers. But the money's there. Would that line item have to move then?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Because I'm trying to figure out, when does the line item move? You know what I mean? Like,
So-
what's the cause of
In
it?
order to budget better, to know where our expenses lie, we like to have the detail. I mean, honestly, we're not required to have the individual objects. We're not required to have, office supplies, program supplies, copier. But we do that in an effort to be able to see where the county's funds are going. You know, so when do you have to do a budget amendment to move between line items? If the commissioners ought to keep the detail as it is now, in order to provide you the most accurate information, if I need funds in office supplies, I don't have it, and it's sitting in program supplies, it's $6,000, a budget amendment will need to be brought before you to move it from program to office. In order for that expense to be categorized properly.
Okay. So if you budget a certain amount of money for a department, they have a budget, and they have money left over for certain things. There is no, if the money's there, then they can use it for basically whatever they want, as long as the money is there, without a budget amendment.
Not whatever they want.
Well, I'm
Within-
saying within what's needed, or
Yes,
okay.
so there is a requirement, a pre-audit requirement that is statutory. If the funds are available, then that expense is pre-audited for them to spend it out of that line item, because that is how you how you desire those expenses to be managed. So if they have $5,000 in office supplies, they can go, that department can spend $5,000 in office supplies. That is a very broad, I mean, they can't just go spend it on any office supply they desire. We still have to manage our funds the way the taxpayers and, regulations.
So if I may, if they have funds within one object code, and they have additional funds there, and they would like to spend it for something else, that money has to be moved to that new object code.
Correct.
Whatever they're gonna spend it for.
Correct. Under 5,000, you have authorized Chip to sign off on those
Right.
budget amendments. Over 5,000, it has to come before you.
Whatever our staff is purchasing are the funds that has to come right down to an object code of what
Yes.
those monies have been allocated.
And that is not changing. That will not change. That's your budget amendment policy. What I'm gonna ask you to change is your budget ordinance.
Right, because in this case, we had an expense that was paid in 2026, but showed on the books for 2025.
Correct.
So we as commissioners had budgeted for that expense in 2026. It was showing it on the ledger basically for 2025 that came up with the violation, not the
Correct.
finding.
And we're making changes to help prevent that.
Okay.
So my
I'm
question,
I'm sorry, but I wasn't finished yet, but
Sorry.
a lot of people got interrupted. But, going back to that then, with the budget amendments that were not processed, what budget amendments were not processed? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not adding up to me in my head, because we have this process going, we have these funds available. But then we're also saying that there were budget amendments not processed. What budget amendments? We don't have that information. So that's why.
There wasn't any unprocessed budget amendments.
I mean, that's what it's saying under cost in this letter. It's saying level budget, departmental level budget amendments were not processed at the object level prior to end year close.
We did not have any budget amendment. There was not any budget. We were not, the departments did not inform us of those expenses that had been incurred that were gonna be posted back in 2025.
So with this letter then, should that be changed or taken out? Because it's stating that. So
No, because prior 40-plus years, we have been able to group our department expenses for audit presentation purposes. So, based on prior experience and prior reporting, this has never been an issue. So, going forward, yes, those budget amendments will be brought to you. We didn't have any budget amendments that weren't processed. This was hasn't been an issue in the past. I don't know how.
I mean, I'm not saying that it was. Like I said, I've done some research. I looked at the 20 NCAC thing. They started in 2020. I'm not saying that we did or didn't. I don't know. Like I said, I just didn't remember ever having this form in front of us, and we ever having to do this before. So that's why.
You haven't.
Okay.
Not for this
Yes,
particular
yeah, so,
concern.
like you said, they change, and when you get in new administration, some follow rules a little bit better than others, or whatever it may be, but it's just under, the way it's written in this, you know what I'm saying, it's just saying budget amendment, so I'm just asking, what is it, you know what I mean, I'm confused, because I like to have all the information, even with the amount of money that there is within these departments that we spent over, so we can tally that up also, making, just looking at everything before I say, well, okay, I agree to it. With the NCGS 159, I was looking at that too, it's like 200 and something different statutes under it. I don't know which one, what applies to us, or if all of it applies to us, so I would like to know what applies to us on that also, so I can take a look at it, because I was just like, I'm not finna read all this, if it don't apply, it might take me 2 years. So, I mean, it's just those things, you know what I'm saying, I like having all the information so I can make a valid opinion and choice with what I vote for and don't vote for. But I'll put all that in an email also, so we can all have it. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, my question was,
Are you okay?
Yes.
Go ahead.
yeah, my question was, with these changes that are gonna be taking place with the departments that are now, able to pretty much make their own decisions on anything that's under $5,000, does that reoccur? How often does that reoccur?
None of that is changing. their policy, their procedures, nothing is changing other than our presentation of our budget ordinance. The budget amendment, policy will not change. They still have to submit budget amendments as they have been to move funds for any dollar amount in order to spend it out of that object level.
So my question is, like, hypothetically, how often would you see a department asking for something under that amount?
Very often. We process between board-approved budget amendments and county manager budget amendments, anywhere 10, and it depends on the time of year too, because the closer you get to the end of the fiscal year, you're gonna see more budget amendments. They're moving funds in order to be able to spend out of those specific line items, so 10 or 20 a week.
You know, so when you say 10 or 20 a week, and you multiply that less than $5,000, that's still a lot of, it
It
can be a
is,
lot of money.
and that is something that is up to you. If you want to reduce that threshold from $5,000 to a lesser amount, that is entirely up to the Board of Commissioners. It was raised several years ago because it delays operations. And how much do you want to manage the departments? The county manager is seeing every one of them. So if he sees a concern, or if I see a concern, you know, that gets addressed.
That was my concern. So thank you on that. And that's why you get the big bucks, because you have tough days like this where we're asking you tough questions.
It's fine, that's fine. I'm happy to answer them.
Back to that, what Commissioner Williams was talking about, that goes back to micromanagement, number one. Number two, it actually costs the county money if if they get a bid in and it's got, the finance department says 30 days, correct?
Yes, sir.
So within that time it gets to us, the 30 days is passed, so they got to go back and rebid it again. Well, guess what that does? It costs us more money. So when you micromanage, it costs you more money. Second thing I want to ask you about is the public safety, and human resources and debt services and internal services. All that, on the backslash, that's the department or the part that was over, correct?
Yes, sir.
Public safety was medical examiner,
Correct.
which the autopsies have doubled, is that correct? The autopsies have doubled by the state statute. Did we have anything to do with that?
The price
No,
for
sir.
autopsies.
The price for autopsies.
Correct.
We didn't have anything to do with that, but that's where that part come into. And I don't know about some of the other, I do know about that one. So the other part, just like with the self-insurance on on our insurance, we have no idea what that's gonna be until we get the bill. That's where the part, and now the other pieces, I don't know about, but the backslash is what department that was, or the subclass of that department. Okay, just want to make sure.
And the self-insurance is, of the four, that was the biggest concern. But again, you're gonna have to inflate your budget to cover that. We had a large claim that was basically double what our monthly costs normally are. So this was kind of an unusual circumstance, but we know how to fix it and how to better manage and budget.
So too much information is the one that dinged us because we didn't,
For those other
Right.
three areas, yes.
So let me paraphrase, and
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong. We're gonna continue on our budget process where we're breaking out every item and such. But when we actually present the budget, it will be grouped
It will
by
be more
department.
condensed, yes, sir.
It would not show all that detail.
That is correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir. But for what you have before you today, the financial performance indicators of concern, FPICS, is a requirement that you respond to the LGC with their corrective action. It only requires a majority of the board to sign off on this letter. And that needs to go today in order to continue on with our borrowing and for us to be able to present a revised budget ordinance next week.
I thought we had 60 days.
You have 60 days, but we are in the middle of the borrowing, and we have a schedule laid out to present to the LGC, and we have been keeping them abreast of this process, this concern, and where we are.
One question, I know used to, as long as your bottom line on any account on expenditures, you might come negative in one line item, but the bottom line has not changed. So that's changed far as,
That's where we hurt ourselves by being so detailed. Yes, ma'am.
The reason you be so detailed is you don't want to overinflate
Yeah.
your total budget,
That's
because
right.
that's just tax pennies on the tax rate.
then
Okay.
you can get dinged for that if you overinflate your budget too much.
Did I hear that you are going to need these signatures today?
It requires a majority, so that's,
So before we leave today, if you all will see Angie and get this document signed.
You
that
need
she
to
would-
take action.
Take
Yeah,
action
you
on
need to
this.
take action.
You need a motion and then a vote
Oh,
on
well,
whether or
you're
not
right,
to
because we
accept.
did move it over.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we are, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
All right, we have a motion to approve. You'll cast your vote. Okay. So that passed 6-1. Okay, I need a motion for consent agenda.
I think you should go back and get
Well,
your public hearing.
let me get consent agenda out. Do I have a motion for?
Would you want, Mr. Gray's here, do you want him to cover those two plats? that
Well,
are-
then, excuse me. We will go through public hearing.
Okay.
Okay, there was a 9:30 a.m. Public hearing that I'm gonna call to order to receive public comments on a request to rezone 2.817 acres in Grantham Township from community shopping to R10 for property located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Paul Hare Road and US Highway 13 South, identified as tax parcel 2546734961. Good morning, Mr. Berry.
This is a rezoning request with the public hearing from community shopping to R10. This is out in the Grantham community at the intersection of Paul Hare Road and Highway 13. The property adjacent to this is also owned by the property owner, which is also the applicant. He has a mobile home park directly to the north of this site, a little strip shopping center directly to the east, and some property across the street as well. You can see that on the screen. The area highlighted in red with the red hatched is the area requested for rezoning. His intentions is to expand his residential development to the north to this southern part as well, so he would like for it to be residential. So with that, we have advertised this. We did post it in the newspaper. We did post it on the property itself on both corners with a sign and sent adjacent property owner notices.
Did you have any comments?
We did not.
Okay, no objections. All right, any questions from any of the commissioners? With that in mind, we are going to recess this public hearing until 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, at which time we will hear additional comments from the public. Okay, now we're going to move to consent agenda, but we would like to have further information, if we can, on item 10, which is a preliminary plat for Talton Farms, Section 4.
Talton Farms, this is the last section of the subdivision. Originally, they had the phase in the front as a preliminary and final plat. It's already been recorded up on Fields Road or towards Field Road. There was a stub out at the end of this. They're extending that stub out to add a new phase. So this will be Section 4. So it is a preliminary plat. That phase is not in yet. They're asking for initial permission to move forward with their detailed planning. Once completed, it'll come back to you as a final plat. The number of lots they're adding are 34. The average lot size is about half an acre with this, and Planning Board has reviewed it and does recommend approval.
I can't see this line here, but what is this line right in the center here?
Oh, that's the phase line.
That's the what?
Well, actually, that's the zoning line. We're zoning, RA 20, I believe is what that is, possibly, and an easement. hold on, let me, I have to look at my bigger map as well.
You want me to zoom in?
Yeah, blow it in. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there's a drainage easement that cuts through there.
20-foot drainage easement.
All right, so that's the drainage you,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know that was the property line or what that was.
And the back of this property, like I said, is in the zoning area, RA 20, but all the lots meet that minimum lot size.
Okay. Any more questions on that? Okay, we're gonna move to, final plat for Jackson Ridge, Section 1.
All right, this is the final plat. You saw the preliminary plat a while back on this. They're doing the front, I guess, probably half of the subdivision at this point. This is out on Antioch Road. It's north of the intersection of Big Daddy's Road, directly beside Creek's Edge, if you're familiar with that new subdivision. They do interconnect with a stub-out street, so both subdivisions will connect into each other, but they do have their own access onto Antioch Road. There are 38 lots with this phase. The average lot size is about 27,000 square feet, so about 6/10 of an acre. All the improvements are in with this, so the streets are paved. We do have a built to standards letter from DOT on this, and the planning board has reviewed it and does recommend approval.
That's, before I forget it, I was gonna ask this the other day. This does not interfere with the right-of-way going to the cemetery, correct?
It does not, no.
Okay, any questions on this? Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we've got a motion. Everybody will vote. Okay, that passed unanimously. Public comments? Has anyone signed up for public comments?
Sir.
I was gonna suggest, since we held open the public hearing for tomorrow, maybe it would be best that we just also have a public comment tomorrow in case
Good
anyone
point.
shows up.
All right, so we're
Just to
gonna
be
hold
consistent.
open our public comments for tomorrow at 11 a.m. when we'll be here. County managers report.
Yes, sir. I'd like to thank all of our first responders for working through this snow event, our sheriff's deputies, our EMS staff, all of our facilities committee, facilities group getting out and cleaning up for us, when the rest of us are home safe. It really shows their dedication, and I wanna make sure they know we appreciate it, and, I appreciate it. That's all.
Okay. Board of Commissioners Committee reports. Commissioner Williams.
Yes, I agree with our county manager. I want to thank all our county employees that went out through the storm and cleared areas out for us. Also wanted to thank our staff for our budget and goals retreat. It was a good retreat. A lot of important things were discussed, Mount Olive being one of them. Our hospitals, just a lot of good things we discussed that would move our county in a better position. Also wanted to remind everybody, don't forget about Black History Month. You know, there's been a lot of great Black Americans who have done a lot of great things in this country and in Wayne County. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Dr. Joe.
Joe, am I supposed to report on my committee?
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you guys for appointing Valerie Wallace and Andrea Frau to the various appointments. I know them both personally. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Following up on everybody else, you know, when we get hit with these snowstorms like that, it's just amazing how quickly everybody acts and does what the best they can. I saw people pulling other people out of ditches and helping each other, and that's what it's all about when stuff like this happens. And I'm just proud of Wayne County and how we've handled this so far. That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Aycock.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to tag in on, the staff, what they done, because this was a terrible, terrible snowstorm. I mean, it's caused me a lot of problems, though. I know it caused y'all a big problem trying to get all this stuff cleared up. And also for our gold retreat, I think it was very interesting, and I appreciate Mr. Chairman, edging it down, where we don't have so many goals and stuff, where we concentrate on some very important ones. And I brought up, in our gold retreat about the homestead, for our elderly, maybe getting this looked at to increase that amount to where, we can, more people could qualify, elderly, because I got a lot of calls as well as a lot of people, a lot of the elderly, that just live on Social Security, they're really, really struggling. And if we could get that amount, increased, I think that would help a lot. And maybe informing them more, because a lot of people don't even realize that it's there. I know it's posted, but a lot of people don't read a lot of the postings or know the knowledge of different things in government as we do. So I would like for us to look at that and see if we could get that done and everything, because I think that's very important. And I think that would save a lot of chatter that goes on, about what, as the board, what we do, not caring, and we do care. So if we could, Mr. Chairman, I would like to really see that, because that was one of the biggest complaints I've had, about any kind of taxes and stuff, is, our elderly and everything, which is very important too. We need to protect our elderly. That is a given. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Foster?
No comment.
Mr. Harrell?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nothing major for me. The Eastern Carolina Council is meeting next Thursday in New Bern at 6:30, so I'll be attending that meeting. Do not have a wages update. We will, of course, have our February board meeting, so maybe I'll have a update on wages when we come back for our second meeting. And just a reminder to my fellow facilities committee members, we rescheduled our meeting till tomorrow morning at 9 before Davenport come in, because I didn't know how many of us were going to be able to make it in today or not, and felt like that needed to be a face-to-face meeting, and other commissioners are invited to attend if they would like to. And last thing, just thank yous again. Thank you to all the staff and our chairman for helping put together our retreat and goals working session. I appreciate that. Sheriff, thank you for presenting, and all the staff members here did a great job. And it was a lot of information, but it was good information. I really appreciate all of it. I learned a lot from everybody. So thank you.
Commissioner Gurley?
Thanks, sir. As has been mentioned before, our first responders, we have a great team of first responders from the EMS, law enforcement, 911, volunteer firefighters and fire departments across the county. I posted something on social media yesterday. I was at the hospital making sure the helipad was clean, and I looked around and there was 5 EMS trucks and 2 supervisors at ED at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. So that shows you right there they were already busy. We had a house fire at Belfast Sunday night, and I had 3 departments there, probably 65 volunteer firefighters responded. So we want to thank those for coming out. And some might think that the roads are impassable, and some of them were, but we're in eastern North Carolina. We're not used to snow, and by working out in it, I can assure you that Sunday night, Saturday night, basically was all for nil, because whatever you done, it was coming down quicker than you could push. And when you did push it and get it off, it glazed over like ice. So don't shoot. I talked to Sawyer, our maintenance engineer with DOT. They were working pretty much around the clock, and still it got to the point that it was not safe for them to be out. But they did work on all the interstate structures across the county, and then worked on the U.S. highways yesterday, and they will be attacking the secondary roads. I think the good Lord's going to help us as much as anybody. Tomorrow we're supposed to have some rain, but it's supposed to be below freezing tomorrow night, so it might be back black ice come Thursday morning. So That being said, I just want to tell, everyone that's been out in it, thank you. Joe mentioned, DeVaca mentioned, our good neighbors, with several people on the side of the road, some, was self-inflicted, a lot were not. And we stopped yesterday to help a lady, and Mike Smith actually helped pull her out. Two guys on a Jeep dug her, was digging her front wheels out, and when I asked her, she said, I tried to get out of the guy's way, you know, and then she just moved over to front wheel drive car and got stuck. So, I mean, take your time when you got people, you know, we got road conditions like we had yesterday, and just as soon as we left that, somebody on a F-250 come by me running about 35, and it was about 6 of us in line going about 20. Now, I'm not gonna tell you what I wanted to do, but anyway, just kind of act like you got some sense. So thank you, Mr. Chair, I appreciate that.
Okay. I hope everybody got as much out of the budget and goals retreat as I did. We had our larger departments come in and kind of give us an idea in regards to what they do on a day-to-day basis on their operations. And I think it was very informative. I do encourage you all, though, to pull back up your email. We are asking for you all to vote on your 6 preferred goals, and the sooner you can get those votes in, the sooner Kayla can get our final goals for 2026 created. So please cast your vote for your top 6 preferred goals. I am working to set up a breakfast with our legislators because we had to cancel them coming in to meet with us. And I think we need to get together and actually meet with our legislators and let them know what some of our goals are and some of our issues for Wayne County. I've got another retreat that I've got to attend next week for the Wayne Community College Board. They will be having their retreat next week. Additionally, we are I'm working with the Board of Education chair to reactivate the 3-on-3, but we've expanded that now to a 5-and-5. This committee is going to be meeting every other month, and it is going to be 3 commissioners, 3 school board members, the superintendent, the county manager, and the finance office for the county and the finance officer for the schools. And we'll be meeting informally and discussing those matters that that the schools are interested in and pursuing, and will give us a little bit better understanding of what their needs are. So that is actually, our first meeting is going to be Monday, and we will report back to you all in regards to what we find out. Anything further?
Nothing further.
Nothing further. So we're recessing this meeting until tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and right after our facilities meeting at 9. So we are recessed.